Thank you. Well, Tory MP Jo Gideon is backing former Chancellor Rishi Sunak, and she joins us live. Let's go straight over to her. Good evening to you. You supported Tom Tugendhat, didn't you, the first time around when they were trying to replace Boris? Why Rishi?
So I did support Tom, but then I supported Rishi. And I'm supporting Rishi again because, quite frankly, he's the only credible candidate that can command the confidence of the party, the parliamentary party and the country.
Now, of course, you're from Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent had a very narrow majority when you won that seat. Are you concerned? Keir Starmer is calling for an election. Are you concerned that you might lose it back to Labour?
Well, I don't think that the call for an election is the right thing. Quite simply, we need to have a new Prime Minister in place, and we need to let that new Prime Minister actually lay out our stall. And I'm very keen that we continue with the manifesto that we won on in 2019, because that's the key to regaining the vote next time around.
OK, let's talk about the runners and riders, so to speak. We've predicting there's three of them because we know MPs are backing them. So according to Sky News tally, which is at the top of everyone's screens, Rishi Sunak's very much at the forefront and leading that. But you just heard, I'm sure, that Boris Johnson is very much being encouraged to go for it, and he's just said he is up for it. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I have to say my fear is that we'll end up with Partygate Part 2 if Boris Johnson comes back. You know, we know that there's still an investigation going on for the Privileges Committee. And what we don't want is to go through three prime ministers in the space of a year. That would be a complete disaster, and it would be a wipeout for the Conservative Party. So I think, it is a hugely risky strategy.
So you're not a fan of Boris Johnson making a return then?
I'm not a fan of Boris Johnson making a return. I mean, I do have to say that during the first year of the Boris Johnson premiership, we did very well out of it in Stoke-on-Trent, and he's very popular here. But we also have to remember what happened in the months leading up to him losing the confidence of the parliamentary party, and I think was it 60 ministers from his government. And we mustn't forget that.
Then why do you think so many people in your party are backing him? Because clearly they believe that he is the man to return, to make the comeback, and that he will be the best chance to take them through to the election, clearly not Rishi Sunak.
Well, there's no doubt Boris Johnson is a personality. I describe him as Marmite. People either love him or hate him. And there are lots of people in this part of the world, in fact, throughout the country, that will forgive him his perceived misdeeds, if you like. But nonetheless, we are looking now at unifying the party, and we need to have a unity candidate, somebody that will pull in all the talents together. And
is that Rishi Sunak then, Jo Gideon? Is Rishi Sunak really a unity candidate, or is he just the guy that we know was in number 11, that he can take control of the economy? But is he a unity candidate for the Tory party?
Well, I think in terms of the choices that we're going to have because of the rules. Clearly, I think it's unlikely that there will be more than three candidates. Well, it's impossible that there'll be more than three candidates going through at 2 o'clock on Monday. And of the choices, certainly he has the proof of economic competence, and that ability to deliver fiscal responsibility, which is absolutely key because everybody worries about the cost of living at the moment. Everybody worries about their mortgages, the state of the pound. And the person that can give them confidence that we can, steer a safe path through this economic turmoil, I think, is Rishi Sunak.
OK, and finally, a reflection on the state of your party and the fact that people are calling it a shambles. There's several backbench MPs saying they're embarrassed, they're mortified by the behaviour of your party. Liz Truss has gone in 44 days. Is this a party that deserves to be in government?
This is a party that is having a period of self-reflection, and we understand that the last 45 days have been a really big problem. I think that, you know, I feel sorry at a personal level for Liz Truss that, you know, she was clearly driven ideologically to take decisions which, and this is why I backed Rishi that first time, didn't actually make sense if you understood the way the economy works and the way, you know, you need to take the markets with you. You need to share an understanding of if you're going to make tax cuts, how you're going to pay for them. So, you know, I think that we know now what needs to be done, and I think that as a party we're very much aware that we've got a lot of catching up to do to rebuild the confidence of the country.
OK, Jo Gideon from Stoke-on-Trent, thank you very much indeed.